Ladies and gentlemen, friends, I welcome you all to the second Camerata Bardi Vocal Academy podcast that has been created within the spirit of giving voice to opera professionals who have written books about opera singing and singers. My name is Stefanos Koroneos. I'm the artistic and general director of Teatro Grattacielo and Camerata Vocal Academy in New York City. In Camerata Bardi and Teatro Grattacielo, we believe that art helps us understand where we have been and imagine where we might go from here. While we are doing our best to ensure that the scope of that achievement includes the vast diversity of artistic voices, cultures, disciplines, and traditions found in the New York community, our community, let alone, of course, around the world. My today's guest, and I'm very excited to say that, is a long time friend. We have been together through a lot. We have eaten pizza in Stazione Centrale in Milano. We have sung together in Philadelphia. We have sung together in New York. We have been hanging out for many years. Her name is Elizabeth Stevens, soprano, creator of Quarantine Sing, and author of The Perfect Practice, a journal for singers. Together with her today, and with her and with me, of course, sopranos Kiena Williams, Beth Mirzai, and I hope I'm saying that right, Beth, tenor Diego Valdez, and bass Stephen Pence. So without further ado, here I am. I'm bringing in my dear friend Elizabeth Stevens. Hello, Elizabeth. How are you?
Stefanos! Hello, my love.
First of all, let me tell you, I'm super excited. I'm super happy to see you here, to see that you are. I have been following your successes, and me and you. I know that we go back many years when we were young singers trying to find our little corner within the world. And here you are right now, having not only a very successful studio, not only a successful career, but also having reinvented yourself throughout this difficult period, this pandemic. And this is something that has always inspired me and fascinated me about people like you, artists like you, who do not stop.
Mm-hmm.
They see the problem and they create a solution.
Mm-hmm.
So, before we go on and talk about quarantine singers, and your book, your amazing book, I always had this fascination, and of course, you have to be part of my fascination. I want to ask you, what made you wake up one day and you say, "I'm going to become an opera singer"?
Oh, that's such a fun question. It's a question I absolutely love answering. And I would say that more than waking up and deciding to be an opera singer, someone one day told me that I am an opera singer. You know, like many people who sing, it's something that I've done all of my life, right? And so when I went to college, I wanted to continue singing. But when I went to college, I actually intended to become like an international politician or businesswoman. I went to school to major in Spanish and international relations, but I also knew that I wanted to sing. And deep in my heart, I knew I wanted to be a singer, but I had grown up with R&B and gospel and a lot of Broadway and jazz. My mom listened to classical music, but it wasn't something that was necessarily a part of my experience growing up in a significant way. But when I went to college, I wanted to sing in the choirs, and I went to my audition and I didn't get in. The conductor said, "Listen, I think you have an amazing talent, but you can't read music, first of all. And also, you haven't trained the voice at all. And these choirs are very rigorous, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, the truth is, I was not prepared to sing in a choir like that. You know, it just wasn't my background. So I went off, like you say, and did my own thing. I started a gospel choir on campus, which is still there today. And then, but he did say also, he said, I think you should take voice lessons because you really have a talent. And I think you should develop it and sing for me again next year. So I went ahead, he put my name on the list of, people, because I was at a liberal arts school and the slots were very few and far between. So he put me on the list. And so I went and I started taking lessons, and about halfway into my first year, my first semester, my voice teacher looked at me one day. Her name was Susan Beckley, and Susan said to me, "You are an opera singer." And
yeah,
like, lady, get out of here, right? But then she started to give me a lot of classical repertoire to sing. The one that I remember was "Ah mio cor."
Okay. I have been there too. Okay.
Yes. So I was singing "Ah mio cor," and it was just so beautiful. And the more I learned about opera and sang classical music, the more it just started to really stick in my heart as the thing that I must do. And eventually, by the time I finished college, I had switched my major to music. I ended up doing a BA with like 4,000 minors. I minored in Spanish. I minored in English. I minored in a number of things. And then eventually went on to grad school. But it was more like someone told me, hey, this is actually who you are. And then I was able to find the path to saying, actually, you know what? You're right. But ultimately, I think what really sold me was the music itself.
Right.
It's so beautiful. And there's so much expression. And because I love to sing and hadn't yet found the true expression of my instrument, but then started to discover it through singing. Through singing opera specifically, because that is the instrument that I have, an operatic instrument. And once I started to really lock into the true expression of that, that's when I started to really find the devotion for it. So.
Wow. Amazing story. Thank you very, very much for sharing, because we have never really talked about that.
I know. I just thought that.
We have talked about so many other things, but we never talked about that. So thank you.
Absolutely. I feel like we have the kind of friendship where one day we just met each other, and all of this history, I feel in a way, just kind of manifested and came together, and certain little details just, I don't know, they weren't important like that. It's not that it's not important, but that you kind of like, we have this sort of symbiotic expression between us. And
right.
A lot of those like getting to know you kind of things.
Yes, absolutely. So talk to me about Quarantine Sing.
Quarantine Sing, my brainchild. Quarantine Sing is a program. It's an artist development program that I created, obviously, during the quarantine, specifically because I saw so many singers with sort of kind of being in despair around what's next, right?
Right.
And obviously, everyone had a lot of panic and upset. And I, on the other hand, was practicing peace. And even now, I'm really practicing and cultivating peace within myself throughout this time, and seeing it really as an opportunity, like, hey, I just get to sit here and be an artist for a little while, you know? And so I decided to create something, especially for what I call my singers, who were the singers in my studio at the time. Excuse me, and I love that the logos are popping up, by the way.
Yes.
Excuse me. So I said to myself, I need to create something for artists to have a calm mind, a peaceful spirit, and a renewed energy and commitment for the voice and career, knowing that this time will end, right? Like, we don't know exactly when, we don't know what it's all going to look like, but the time will come to an end. And I started to see, even before everyone, I think, sort of shifted to doing it, I started to see that this is an opportunity for people to create out of nothing.
Right.
You know, so I created this program to allow people to come and cultivate that peace and calm, and also to work intensely on the career and the artistry, and really kind of decide in this moment who they want to be as artists. And so in the program, we do that. We identify kind of the core characteristics or core beings that make us up. What are our individual giftings as artists, but also as people, you know? So they do a lot of work around that. And then also setting goals for life and career. That's where we are in the new cohort, which started last week. Today, we're finalizing our goals. They're finalizing their goals, rather. I always talk in the we because I feel like it's very much our process. And even though I'm doing the same exact thing, the singers are finalizing their goals today. And then they'll go through this next 6 weeks, working out those goals, meeting industry professionals, having the opportunity to sing for people, sing for people who can give them really, truly relevant feedback. And also that they can develop relationships, professional relationships with those people that may, or, you know, that may advance in the future.
Right.
And so these are kind of the elements that I wanted to bring. And of course, they get to do the thing, which is to sing. And so we have every week, we have studio class on Sundays, we have master classes, and we also have a class of life development, a life development class.
Fantastic. And you know, I must attest, and ladies and gentlemen, whoever is listening right now, that these singers are first rate, all of them. I have been to several of their concerts live with a mask on the very back of the church in the corner. And I really, really, really can attest absolutely to the quality. And guess what? This is exactly what we stand for, all of us, I think. How do we take that period of stillness, of a certain silence, and we turn it into something that is proactive and a positive experience, and not into something that bring us down, but something that uplifts us and makes us a better better singer, better administrator, better whatever it is. And kudos to you. I know your work, and I know very well what you do, and it's really, really fantastic. And you're very welcome. And let's get to the core of this conversation before we go to singing. The main reason why I asked you to do this podcast with me is my fascination and my curiosity about your book.
Yay!
So let's start. Let's walk the people who is listening right now. Yes. Yes. Oh, in pink. You have it also in black, right?
Yes.
Oh, fantastic. Excellent. Yes. And before we get into that, it can be found on Amazon. So whoever is interested, all you have to do is go on Amazon, type Perfect Practice, a journal for singers, Elisabeth Stevens, and the book is going to come out. And it's a great tool for every opera singer. And walk with me from the beginning. What prompted you to say, I need to create a journal for singers?
You know what? I think you're going to find so much similarity in the conversation regarding Quarantine Sing. And and perfect practice, in the sense that when I'm thinking about who I am as a creator and administrator and now author,
Mm-hmm.
I'm always thinking about what need can I fill. And so as a teacher, I've been teaching for a long time, even though Studio List was born in 2015.
Right.
But I've been teaching since I was in grad school in like 2002, right? And so over the years, one of the things that really has stood out to me is how uneven our classical training is, right? And I was a product of that myself. As I told you my story about getting to college and not having the first idea of what it meant to be an opera singer. And you can imagine how kind of behind I was in the process when I went to my first music theory class and my first master class and my first this and that. And I was really fortunate to have a lot of professors along the way, both at Bucknell and later on at Westminster Choir College, professors who took the time to show me what needed to be done, and also were methodical in their own approach so that I could learn the methodologies of how to approach my singing,
right.
Especially with my teacher, Sharon Sweet, who I mentioned in this book. And she was really specific at how you practice, right? And that's something that I've tried to pass on. But I noticed, even with my professional colleagues, people who are out here working already, that not everyone has an idea of where to start when you get a new role thrown at you, or you get a new you're trying to learn and memorize a recital. How do you incorporate the technique into everything that you're doing? Right. And so I saw, especially with my students more than anything, that some people would come and they'd be so excited and enthusiastic about learning, and they would come to the lessons and try to get it. Then I would see them the next week and we would be back at square one, back to the same conversation. And in conversation with them, it was like, well, what are you doing when you leave here? Are you practicing? Well, yes, I'm practicing, but what are you actually doing in the practice room? And so as it started to emerge, and I'm always, like I said, looking for ways that I can fill needs, I thought they need a tool. They need a guide, because I don't have time as a teacher, and I'm sure everyone else who might be watching that is a teacher can relate. We don't have time in the studio to tell you every single thing to do. But I started to give students practice plans when they leave the studio. This is how you're going to practice. This is what you're going to do. And so on the way out, I would tell them what to do. And I started to see certain voices really start moving a lot faster. And I said, I need to just put this in a format that they can read the front and then do it.
Right.
And that's how it was born. Yeah.
Wow. I mean, listen, obviously it's a bright idea. It's an idea that I hope many singers they will embrace. And I can only say that I have heard the results, and the results are really excellent, first rate. And talking about
you've kind of seen some of these singers who are going to sing today. You've seen at the beginning of their, like before the book was published, right?
Right.
And you've seen them at the beginning of the quarantine sing process, and you've gotten to see how they've grown and developed throughout the time. And the progress they're making is fast. Sometimes this last concert, I was sitting there, I have to admit, and I was like, wow, some of these people are like different singers than they were in July, I was like, wow.
Yes.
Maybe I know what I'm doing.
Well, I mean, why don't we put the words in practice and bring in the very first participant of this podcast today. He's a young tenor from El Paso, Texas. It happens to be a very well-rounded young singer in so many ways. And I'm excited, and I say this publicly, to follow him and to find out what is going to happen within his artistic life. So I'm going to take you off the screen and I'm going to bring in Diego. Hi, Diego.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing even better after the flattery, I must say.
Oh, okay. Okay. So what are you going to be singing for us?
I'll be singing Che gelida manina from Puccini's La Bohème.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy.
Che gelida manina, se la lasci riscaldar, cercar che giova, al buio non si trova. Ma per fortuna è una notte di luna, e qui la luna l'abbiamo vicina. Aspetti, signorina, le dirò con due parole chi son e che faccio, come vivo. Chi son? Sono un poeta. Che cosa faccio? Scrivo. E come vivo? Vivo. In povertà mia lieta, scialo da gran signore, rimedini d'amore, per sogni, per chimere, e per castelli in aria. L'anima milionaria, dal mio forziere, ruban tutti i gioielli, due ladri, gli occhi belli. V'entrar con voi pur ora, ed i miei sogni usati, e i miei sogni miei, tosto si dileguar, ma il furto non m'accora. Poiché va preso stanza la speranza. Or che mi conoscete, parlate voi, te parlate chi siete. Vi piaccia dir.
Oh, what can I say? Virtual applause. Fantastic. And Diego, yes, yes. And I mean, I don't know you for a very long time, but since I have known you, uh, I am a fan. So kudos to you. And kudos, obviously, to my friend Liz for all the wonderful work that you guys have been doing together. Um, before before I move on to the next guest, and because I see on behind you an electric guitar, and then this kind of gets me a little bit going. Let me ask you a couple of things. How did you decide to become an opera singer? Can you tell us a little bit?
Well, okay, I'm glad. I mean, I forgot that it was there, honestly, but that's how actually I started. I started music when I was 10,
Okay.
playing guitar,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought that was like my whole life. I would walk around school. I'd always carry my guitar with me, and that's what I was known for. I didn't start singing until I was 17, like my last 2 years of high school. So I started kind of started a band with my friends, and we didn't have a vocalist. And I decided to try to fill in sometimes, even though we were trying to play metal and I had no idea how to do really hard vocals. So that was definitely not good. But then one of my friends asked me actually after knowing about that I started singing and everything, if I wanted to join choir. And I was like, no, choir is lame back then. But sure enough, that's kind of what got me hooked into classical music. And actually, the following year is when we did the school's very first musical. We did an operetta. We did Pirates of Penzance. And that whole process, actually, just learning a role, being in a huge group. I mean, the show itself was really fun. So it was another excuse to goof around with my friends. But I fell in love with the process, and that's kind of what got me started down the road.
Fantastic. And obviously, right now you live in El Paso, right? Yeah. And the plan is to kind of move towards New York to be closer to us, or?
Yeah, definitely. I'm just waiting for some things to line up, but I mean, by the end of the year, I'm pretty sure I'll be in the Northeast. And I don't know. It's a move that I've been putting off just a little bit. I just finished my master's, graduated 2019. And I took a year to live in the Midwest, do some auditions there and everything. And then COVID hit. So now I'm hunkering down back at home. But I mean, the plans to be there and be closer to Liz, obviously, and all the people that I've met along the way.
Absolutely. We cannot wait to have you in New York, because I think you will do very well there.
I'm excited.
Thank you so much, Diego, for being with us. Stay with us. I will bring you back again at the end, so we can all say a final goodbye. And bravo to you. Congratulations. So, ladies and gentlemen, my next guest, our next guest, mine and Elizabeth's, is a soprano that has hit many high notes for me in a personal level, but also in a professional level, in the sense that I have seen how dedicated and how serious she is about her art, about her craft, and about what she wants to do in her life. I have always been very attracted, because of my personal history as a singer and all the other stuff. I'm very attracted to people who are very strong-willed and that they want and they go for it. And this soprano is exactly that. Her name is Beth Mirzai, and I hope I'm saying that right. Beth, correct me, please.
Hello. Now you're saying it great. Thank you so much for having me.
I don't know. Is it Mirzai? Is it Mirzai?
Yeah, no, perfect. Mirzai.
Mirzai, fantastic. Because if you were Greek, it would be Mirzai.
It's Iranian, so it's Mirzai for in Iran, people that speak Farsi, but we anglicize it to Mirzai. But you did a great job. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I feel much better. So, Beth, what are you going to be singing for us?
I'm going to be singing Regnava nel silenzio from Lucia di Lammermoor by Donizetti.
I love already. Okay, it's all yours. Enjoy.
All right. Thank you so much. del più cocente ardore, col favor del core, mi giuro eterno fe, gli affanni miei mendigo, gioia divina il pianto. Parmi che a noi la canto si schiuda il cielo si schiuda il cielo per me. Si schiuda il cielo per me. Quando rapido in estasi del più cocente ardore, col favor del core, mi giuro eterno fe, gli affanni miei mendigo, gioia divina il pianto. Parmi che a noi la canto si schiuda il cielo per me. Si schiuda il cielo per me. Si schiuda il cielo per me.
Beth, brava.
Thank you so much.
Brava, brava, brava. You know, first of all, I really applaud and appreciate the fact that you did a cabaletta twice, which we all know who sings. We all perfectly know how difficult and how much preparation and how much work it takes to do a cabaletta once. About doing it twice.
No, thank you.
Kudos to you. Kudos to you. Really, really, really fantastic, fantastic. And before I move on to ask you a few things, even though I don't know the answer, but I would like you to say, who is this fabulous person who created this pianist who created those musical bases for you guys?
So we work with Jose Melendez, who is at the Academy of Vocal Arts, and he is an incredible pianist, an incredible coach. And we are just, it's another person that I'm just so blessed to work with, you know, along with Liz, and really help us to really bring our art to life. You know, it's one thing to learn the notes, it's another thing to make it a story, and that's always something we're striving for, to have our voices heard and to bring that emotion in that character.
Fantastic. Thank you, Jose. Thank you. If you're listening right now, you should know that we all love you. Yeah,
we do.
Goodness to you. So Beth, it goes to again to my fascination about how everybody has decided to to get involved into something that is so difficult and so complex. Because guess what? And I'm sure I'm not saying anything new to anybody. We opera singers, we're not only singers. We don't know how to sing, but we're actors, we're musicians. We have chosen something so complex, but so also rewarding when you get it right and you're out there and you're singing for your public and you're for yourself. But what made you say I'm going to be an opera singer? How did you woke up one morning and you said, okay, that's my path?
I think I have a bit of a similar story to Liz. Actually, when I was a child, I had very horrible stage fright. So my brother was the one who sang all the time, and he was like that quintessential boy soprano. He would probably kill me if he's listening. But he was phenomenal. He has a beautiful voice. Now he's, I don't know what he just sings for fun. But
Right.
I was always so afraid, and I had this amazing high school choir teacher who did voice lessons for me, and she taught me how to get out of that. But because of that, I had a little bit of a late start. And in college, I did a lot of choral stuff, and I dabbled, and I sort of piecemealed a music minor for myself. I'm an Italian major, and I have a master's in linguistics. So along the way, I always brought singing, but I always struggled with, I think a lot of what we struggle with, which is that imposter syndrome, that is it good enough? Is it enough? And I think that little voice in my head just kept poking it out and saying, you have to keep doing this. You have to keep doing this. You have to keep doing this. Right. And a few summers ago, I was in Italy singing with a program. I was singing Donna Anna and Don Giovanni. And I remember I was backstage and I was getting changed in the middle of the opera, they were putting my wig on and everybody's running around and the show is still happening. And I remember having like an epiphany and being like, this is what I want to do. And I have to stop at nothing to really get there. And Liz has been such an amazing part of that this year, because as we all know, this was a hard year because we all had time where we weren't performing. Although because of Quarantine Sing, I had time where I was performing, and I've had the time to work on my voice, to work on my artistry, to sing for industry professionals and to get to know them like yourself. And it's really been such a joy and such a blessing and a highlight of what I think has been a difficult time for a lot of people.
Yes. And I mean, you touched so many points that they resonate with me. If you take the time right now to create something positive about yourself, there is no other outcome that I can predict than only positive things. But not only in a professional setting, but also in a personal setting. Because guess what? Whenever you do something that you love, you grow also internally, and obviously you also are a happier person. And I can say this also from my experience. For whoever listens, I sit on my computer because I found myself running 2 companies, but I love it so much that I don't mind. I'm working day and night, 24 hours 7, because I feel like this is my personal growth. And I'm so happy, Beth, that you found yours. And that's what I said at the beginning. The first thing that I noticed about you, the quality, the voice, the musicianship, all of this. But I noticed that you really meant business. And I love that. That's, for me, something that I know it comes from within. And I really, really, really wish you all the best. And you know that I'm keeping an eye on you. So we shall be talking soon. Stay and also till the end so we can say all together a goodbye to everybody who's listening. And I'm going to pass to the next person. Thank you, Beth. Thank you. So the next soprano, her name is Kiena Williams, is one of these young singers who, like Diego, I have been very fond of them from quality reasons, but also for the fact that they have this very sunny personality. I am extremely attracted to people who are always upbeat and no matter what, they're happy, and they're happy to be in a room with me or with other people. And I'll tell you more. The first time I heard her, I called Elizabeth and I said, tell me everything about her. I want to know every little detail because I want to find ways to put her on the stage as much as possible, because I bet that this soprano is going to go very far. Sorry. So there she is, Kiena Williams. Hey, love, from Brooklyn. Do I say that right?
I wasn't ready for that. Yes.
No. It's true, and I say that with lots of love. Before I make you talk, tell me a little bit about what you're going to be singing.
I'm going to be singing. First of all, thank you for having me. This is so exciting. A pleasure to just be here and share with you, like you said, and with my colleagues. I'm going to be singing Mi tradico l'alma ingrata from Don Giovanni.
Fantastic. The stage is yours. Enjoy.
In quali eccessi, o nomi, in quai misfatti orribili e tremendi, e a volto il sciagurato. Ah no, non pote tardare l'ira del cielo, la giustizia tardar. Sentir già porvi la fatale saeta che gli piomba sul capo. Aperto veggio il baratro mortal. Misere vero, che contrasto d'affetti. Innocenti nasce. Perché questi sospiri e queste ambasce mi tradico l'alma ingrata, quell'alma ingrata, infelice, oh Deo mi fa, infelice, Dio mi fa, infelice, Dio mi fa. Ma tradito, io abbandonato, provo ancor per lui vita, provo ancor per lui pietà. Provo ancor per lui pietà. Mi tradiva l'alma ingrata, quell'alma ingrata, infelice, oh Deo mi fa, infelice,
Yes. I mean, what can I say? Again, one more time, and I mean, it's not new to you because we have spoken so much. Excellent. You are obviously you're very young, but you are on your way to greatness. And thank you for being with us. And like everybody else, I would like to ask you the same thing. And I'm sure it's pretty recent because you are so young. How did you decided to become an opera singer?
I guess it's funny because I feel like I'm in the place that I need to be in Studio Lists. Liz has been an incredible influence and role model and just mentor. And so the fact that she's like, someone told me I was going to be an opera singer was really funny to me because I hadn't necessarily heard their full story. And I feel like for opera very specifically, that's kind of what happened to me. I have been singing for a while. I'm a Brooklyn native. I grew up here. I went to high school here. And classical music was something that was not really on my radar so much. And that I just love to sing, and I am a student, and I'm a music geek. And so I went to LaGuardia High School, and once I got into learning, what it means to study your instrument, I was just excited to get out there and teach and make kids feel like one of my teachers made me feel, who's still there. In chorus. And so I sang in a bunch of choirs and I did all that stuff, but I really did not have the confidence or the kind of self-esteem to think that I could be at the front of the pack. And so I enjoyed doing background vocals and singing in choirs and doing ensemble work because I love the stage and I enjoyed just bringing music to life. And so when I went to undergrad at Penn State, I was studying music education and I had no plans to pursue a classical career. I was ready to, I'm a first generation college graduate. And I knew that I wanted to kind of have something that was secure. And I knew my parents were very kind of leery of, sending me to college to study music. So I said, I can teach and that's secure, right? And then, I got some opportunities to perform as a soloist with choir and travel the world and start to really understand that I really wasn't giving myself enough credit and my instrument was just kind of, bigger than what I could even imagine. And so, and the possibilities were more than I can imagine. And so post grad, thankfully in my senior year, I linked up with Liz. She came to my school and I got to hear her and I was like, who is this lady? And I got to talk to her and she's like, yeah, I was in, doing school and, just giving me a little bit of her background information. And I'm in New York City. And when I started studying with her again, I wasn't like, I'm studying with her so I can get my feet on the ground and start performing. It was not until very recently that, with her perfect practice, the tools that she was giving us in those studios, I'm definitely one of those singers who was like, what am I not doing in the practice room? And so as, my instrument started to build and my skills started to continue to mature, there was this like light bulb moment between her and I that was like, Kiana, if you really want to do this, you can, right? And for a long time, I was like, I don't know if it's that serious. I could just teach kids and it'll be fine. But I love the stage and I love the music and I love, the opportunity and the representation of being, a person of color and someone who is from the background that I'm from and not having, any information really growing up in the household around this beautiful art form. And being able to bring in, my life experiences and my love for other styles of music and my love for the human, experience and bringing it to this really incredible art form. And so, yeah, it was very recently that I started taking things seriously. And thanks to Liz and Studio Liz and Perfect Practice and Quarantine Sing. And obviously, like you said, that like hunger, that like burning fire to be like, let's keep it going and see what happens and open up, this understanding of abundance and opportunity, just to share, and do something that I love. And I've been so blessed to have been in this room with you and hear your feedback and really continue to push forward to be able to share my gifts and in whatever way that I really can,
Absolutely. And I must tell you, and I will tell you one more time, even though I have told you so many times, you're very memorable. So this is already a very, very, very big step ahead that you have done. And stay with us too, because I would like to bring you back at the end.
Will do. Thank you so much, Stefanos.
No, thank you. And last but not least, one singer that is I am a very big fan. I have heard him on my computer the first time, digitally, and I was already a fan. And then I happened to hear him singing live in Messiah with Quarantine Sing, and I'm sure he was so concentrated that he didn't see me, but I was dancing on my chair. It's not only the voice, it's not the volume, it's not the presence, it's just the whole package in him together. That sound, that presence, that really got me. And then I was talking to Liz right after the performance, when I spoke to her and I told her, I feel obliged in front of such a great talent. I have to find something to give him in the next years with as artistic director of a company, because I feel this guy has to be heard. And he lives on the other side of, not of the world, but of the United States. He lives in Los Angeles. And I know he has had a very florid and very great career so far. And again, one more time, I'm happy and very excited to have him with us. And his name is Stephen Pence, and he's a bass.
Thank you
Hi,
so
Stephen.
much, Stefanos. Wow.
It's all true. I have left after I heard you live, because there are some voices that live are so exciting, and that's one of the you possess one of those voices. And I called Liz and I left her this huge message talking about you and about what my mind was spinning, because I cast people for a living, and I cast also people for some other companies that nobody knows. But so I was kept telling her stuff, and I would like first to give you the opportunity to sing for us, and then I would like to talk to you a little bit. What you will be singing?
I will be singing Infelice e tuo credevi from Hernani by Giuseppe Verdi.
Fantastic. The stage is yours, Toi Toi.
Thank you. Che mai veggia nel penetrar più sacro di mia magione, presso a lei che sposa esser dovrà d'un silva, due serpari io scorgo. Entrate là, mi fidi cavalieri, sia ognuno testimon de disonore dell'anta che si reca al suo signore. Infelice e tuo credevi, si bel ciglio immacolato, bel tuo crine fra le nevi, chiama invece il disonor. Ah, perché l'età in seno ciò vincore m'ha serbato, e dovevan gli anni almeno ancora il cor mi dovevo gli anni almeno far di gelo ancora il
Yes, yes. I mean, first of all, let me tell you, my favorite voice of the whole voices are a bass voice. I have a big fascination about real basses like yourself, with a beautiful color. And I can tell first of all that you are incredibly well schooled and a true professional. What can I say? I mean, I am a big fan. I I can picture you in so many roles and so many productions in so many things. And kudos to you for, even though you are a professional, you are in the profession and you are making a living out of this work. Kudos to you for taking the time to develop your craft. And this is something that you know, I speak also a little bit from my perspective, from a perspective of somebody who, okay, I sang for 20 years, I have been around the world, and I know how much sometimes we are on the go and we think the same, then what's going to be the next job, the next gig, and we never take the time to stop and say, okay, can I breathe one moment, take a time and work on my craft? And kudos to you. I am also a very big fan. And like everybody else, I would like to ask you, Steve, and we have the same name too. So that's another connection. I would like to ask you, what made you decide that you want to be an opera singer?
Well, I always sang just for myself growing up, from probably before I could speak. I became really interested in musical theater, and in high school I was doing musicals with the drama department, and I started taking voice lessons. And one of my teacher's other students told me about auditions for supernumeraries at LA Opera, which, for anyone who doesn't know, those are opera extras, the people who do not sing but are on stage doing things. So I showed up, and it was I Pagliacci. It was directed by Franco Zeffirelli. It was the first time his production had come to LA. Placido Domingo was singing Canio. The great Chilean soprano Veronica Villarroel was Neda, and Juan Ponce was playing Tonio.
Oh, my favorite, ever.
And so I got to be on stage with all these amazing singers in this amazing opera. And this was in the summer before my senior year of high school. And it just blew me away. I thought, this is something that I want to do.
And you are doing it, and I mean,
yeah. Now I'm a regular. I'm a core member of the LA Opera Chorus. I sing with the LA Master Chorale. I do outreach. In precedented times, I do outreach at elementary schools, and have a couple church jobs and just hustling. And I've reached a really good measure of success as a local singer and an ensemble singer, and I want more. And so this program started. Liz started this program, Quarantine Sing, and mutual close friend of ours, Farah Kidwai, let me know that this was something that I needed to do, and she was right.
And I agree, absolutely, I agree with you. And it's first of all, out of curiosity, are you guys right now rehearsing virtually with LA Chorus? How
No, not at the moment. I believe the current plan is to start in the fall. But everything is pending how it goes. Master Chorale is also planning to start in the fall. They'll just transpose their entire program from last season, which was canceled, to this coming one.
Right. Listen, you have the quality and the personality and the looks to have a first-rate career. So, Steve, I can only wish you the best. And I'm like everybody else in this group that we chose together with Liz. But obviously, it's not my work; it's Liz's work. I cannot take any credit except, the podcast, the creation of the podcast. But I strongly believe that you all have an incredible potential to get out there to the world and to have something to say.
Thank you so much for this opportunity, Stefanos.
I am thankful to all of you, and I will bring you all in right now, that you can all be together with me on the stage.
It's a party.
Before I say the final goodbye, I would like to, as always, to have a little with all of you. I don't know.
I love that.
I don't know how this came, but it's okay.
I love that. Come on.
Lizucha, before we leave, we say good night or good afternoon to everybody. Do you have any final words?
Yes. For my singers, I just want to tell you all how proud that you make me and how very grateful I am that you all choose to spend your days of quarantine studying and working with me. And I'm super duper proud and excited about everything that lies before you. And you just make me proud. And Stefanos, to you, I will say, actually, you can take some credit here because you have been in our space supporting the singers with not just your presence at our concerts, but it's definitely important, I think, for us all to mention that you've come in and actually given master classes and supported them with identifying strengths and weaknesses in their artist brand. And I thank you for also sharing the space, for putting your belief into me and into these very, very talented singing artists. These are the things that I want to say. And to everyone who's watching, what I want to say is, thank you for joining us. Also, feel free, please, to reach out to me if you have any questions about Quarantine Sing or about the book, Perfect Practice, A Journal for Singers. Voice teachers can find out more about how to get the book into your studios, especially at your universities. Thank you, Beth, for reminding me. Yes, everybody holding up their journals. Woo-hoo!
Hey, can you say exactly how can they reach you?
Yes. So you can reach us online. There's a mini site for the journal called perfectpractice.studiolistvoice.com. You can visit that site to find out about the journal. You can DM me on Facebook, or I'm very easy to reach on Facebook, or you can send an email to info@studiolistvoice.com. You can also reach me on Instagram at Studio List Voice, which is the new page for the voice studio, and at perfect.practice.singing for the book. So there are many, many, many ways to reach me, but I think the easiest thing is to visit the mini site, perfectpractice.studiolistvoice.com, because from there you can find out how to order the book. You can send an inquiry. There's an inquiry form for you to receive updates and things like that. Studiolistvoice.com, of course, is a site where you can learn about Quarantine Sing, which we haven't announced the next session, but it'll start in March. But yeah, those are many, many ways, and info@studiolistvoice.com for email.
And I will be putting, to add to all of this, all this information into the comments of this YouTube video. This live is going to be staying there forever. I'm going to be adding all this information for everybody who's interested to order this book, or to know more about Elisabeth Stevens and his studio.
Thank you. And I'm actually typing it in on YouTube, the website right now.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that. Beautiful people, thank you. You are all amazing. Thank you for being with us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for whoever has spent the afternoon with us. It is a pleasure to be able to present you, pleasure and a privilege to be able to present you so many amazing people. And until next weekend.
Thank you, Stefanos.
Ciao, everybody.
Thank you, Stefanos.
Ciao, ciao.
Ciao. Bye.